I know. Like, best tactical pen is sort of like saying best pizza cutter or best baseball cap. And you think, yeah, some are better than others, but none of them are that much better. So like, if I say it's the best, by how much? Typically you'd be right, but every once in a while you find that pizza cutter. It's like, man, the grip is just right and the thing doesn't wobble and it's like perfect. This is damn near perfect.
Come right here.
This is the Stealth Tactical Pen from the Atomic Bear. Ooh, it's got mean little teeth on there. I'll tell you what the details are on this, but first, this is a sponsored video. The Atomic Bear did sponsor this video. Now, Atomic Bear had tried to reach out to me before about certain things. They'd sent me stuff, nothing I was like over the moon about. Then they sent me this and I was like, yes, I want to do this video. I want to do a video on this because there's an industry trend now, which I really like, where basically the makers of stuff like this are taking a thing, in this case the pen, and saying, so like, what are all the problems with tactical pens? Like, what's wrong with them? And then just fixing that. Just making a list of the common problems with tactical pens and fixing it. What's a common problem with tactical pens? Well, usually they look fucking stupid. They look either like weapons, like big, ginormous, like, weapons of the Urukai that don't look like anything a person would really carry around, or they're a decent pen that you can carry around, but they're made of some heavy metal and they're too thin to actually use as a weapon. This thing perfectly splits the difference between all of them, and it fixes all my problems with the common tactical pen. One important thing is you gotta realize that this has gotta be a pen first. It's gotta be a fun pen to use that writes good. It's got a little bolt action there that's very, very satisfying. Boom. Bop. That's really cool. I enjoy doing that, and it writes good. It writes good. It writes. So, see? Look, I wrote something. But you want to know what A makes this so damn tactical, but B, what makes it different from all the other tactical pens on the market? One important thing, this is all polymer. The body is all polymer. This guy is the same polymer. It's got knurling. It's got little flat parts that make it easy to hold here. This is going to become important later. This is aluminum, this is steel, and this mamma jamma right there is tungsten. If you stick that through a window, it breaks. If you stick that through someone's face, it's unpleasant. And you can pop it off like that too, so it's one-handed deployment. This part's probably unnecessary. If you just stuck a toothless pin in somebody, it would probably do okay. But these little teeth, I guess they could suck a little piece of DNA out of somebody. But I think the idea of DNA collection in self-defense weapons is a little bit overblown. I don't know that we have a ton of data where that's been a factor. The DNA collection capability of a weapon factoring into real life. This little rubber cap here covers the tungsten glass breaker tip. But this knurling plus this little sexy little slim waistline here, it doesn't seem like much. One of my issues with tactical pens has always been they're either big thick boys that make great weapons but ugly pens that I don't want to carry, or it's a beautiful slender little unbreakable metal pen that it's not fun to use as a weapon. This is a bit of a thick boy, but with a nice sexy little set of hips on him, and your pinky goes right there, and it doesn't seem like it would be that big a deal, but I have done a good bit of training and practice with this guy, and it makes a huge difference. It makes it much more ergonomic, I guess, to use a buzzword. This thing is pretty fucking cool. Now, as far as how you use it as a weapon to defend yourself, we've done countless videos on how to use flashlights, pens, or Kubotans. And by the way, if you're confused, because sometimes people get confused, it's like, you said Kubotans suck, but you love flashlights, and you tolerate tactical pens. That's because Kubotans are just pens that don't write. And so why are you carrying that? I will get use out of this. I'll write with it. if you were a police officer, you clip this in your uniform shirt and you could actually use it if you need to write something down. Don't hand this to people to have them fill out their statements. Like, don't get some throwaway cheapo pens by the hundreds for those. But if you had to use this to retain your weapon or fight someone off, or if you were in a non-permissive environment, someplace you couldn't carry traditional weapons, this guy, the Stealth, is pretty inconspicuous. It just looks like a little bit of a thick pen unless someone looks really close and looks at those teeth. But how to use it as a weapon, whether you reinforce your boxing, reinforce your clinching, or reinforce your grappling, doesn't much matter if you don't practice and train with it.
I feel like you practice this stuff all the time.
Well, I practice this stuff all the time.
I know.
I should be practicing other stuff all the time.
I feel like the doctor just looked in my ear.
Yeah. One thing that might not come across really well in camera is the shape of it, because it looks pretty round, and it's mostly round, but there's a slight hexagonal shape to it. Like, this is flat, and this is a little bit of a corner, and this is flat. So the knurling kind of disappears somewhat on the very flatter part, and then it's more aggressive on the corner. And what that does is not only does it give you a little more grip for like writing, but even the whole thing is like that. So even when it's in your hand, it's a non-aggressive knurling that actually does provide some grip. And balancing how effective this thing is as a weapon or tactical pen with how realistic and reasonable it is to carry it is the ultimate quandary with these sorts of things, because it's like ridiculous to think that you're gonna, Jason Bourne a motherfucker with this thing in real life. That's probably not gonna happen. It's almost certainly not gonna happen. But you will need a pen. So you will. If you're a grown adult doing any kind of grown adult things, you'll probably need a pen. Maybe they'll get phased out one day, but they're not quite phased out yet. And if you are gonna carry a pen, why not carry one that could theoretically help you, John Wick your way out of a problem? And if it makes you feel a little better to have some kind of weapon. I know that when I travel to teach, a lot of times I'm going through places where you can't carry weapons, and having something that I know I could use as a weapon just helps me feel like not such a buffoon, like not such a useless schlub. Like obviously I carry deadly weapons everywhere I go, but it's cool to have something that like, okay, I could ready this and I could like make some stuff happen in a scenario where you can't carry your pistol or your knife or pepper spray. The Atomic Bear Stealth is a pretty serious piece of hardware. And I can tell because I've been doing this for a while, and I've seen this come out recently with flashlights, I've seen it come out with knives, I've seen it come out with training systems for guns, where people are just saying, what is wrong with the stuff that everyone's making, and just fixing all of it. Fixing all of it in one go and getting everything right on the pen. Steel clip is very strong, very robust, overused term. Tungsten tip for when you need it, but you don't really need that for fighting. It's got a good rubber nubule here cover. This little sexy little cutout to give you a little place for purchase. It makes a huge difference whether you use it like this or you use it like that. Either one doesn't matter. And those mean little, maybe unnecessary teeth, but man, they sure hurt. But this action here, that guy right there, ooh, satisfying. We slide it in, we slide it out. Bolt action, a bolt action pen. I'm totally with this guy. I really like this thing. I get sent a bunch of pens. I go over this every time, but I think it's important to understand, especially in a sponsored video where you understand, yeah, it's a paid placement, but I could recommend anything. There's 10 of these guys that want me to make videos about their pens. You know what I mean? And I say no to 9 and then yes to 1. So, but I don't say it unless I mean it. And these guys here knocked it out of the park with this one.